All right. Hey guys, happy Sunday evening. Welcome to our new coach mentorship check-in call. I know we'll have some folks that'll keep joining us. We have an awesome speaker for you tonight, and our goal is to continue just to put resources in front of you so that you understand how doable this business is. And it's all about taking action. I know that when you're on a veteran team, and sometimes you see coaches who have been doing this for 8, 9, 10 years, you're like, I'll never get there. A, yes, you will. And B, we realize that. So that's why the past couple of weeks we've been giving you these coaches who have all started this year and are all rocking their business. So Heather, I think you're our highest ranking one that we've had on so far. We had one of Micah Folsom's coaches on the first time, Jade, who started kind of spring breakish. So March, probably about the same time you did. She's still a school teacher. And then last week we had Jessica, one of Emily's coaches too. So Jessica DeWitt. And this week we have you, and you're a little bit higher ranked. Are you 3-star?
I am actually 2.
2-star. Okay. So we're 2-star. So you are the highest rank that we've had on here so far. And the beautiful part about that 2-star ranking is, and you can talk to them about this as well, is that's where that lovely quarterly bonus kicks in. So, as they're striving for diamond, and I so remember you saying this when we talked a while ago, like, well, I'm hitting 2-star, but that's not where I'm stopping. Your vision is so clear and so in it for the long play. So I'm excited to have you share tonight. So I hope you guys are excited. You're ready to take some notes. Heather is in Alabama. So she's coming to us from the deep South, which I love because we've got, it's all over the country. We're just coming together and connecting. And again, Heather is not on our team. So what a powerful testament to the power of collaboration and the power of Team Beachbody, because she's just coming on to share with you, to help you succeed, because the more all of us succeed, the more all of us succeed. So it's a really cool thing when we just come together and collaborate. So Heather, I'm going to mute. I'm going to let you share your story a little bit. And everyone, remember to go up to the right-hand corner, hit speaker view. So that will put Heather as the main focus, and get ready to take some notes. All right, Heather, you're up.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to claim Jessica. Jessica is my personally sponsored coach, and she was my first runner or rock star, and you guys heard her story last week. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and then I just watched her call because I didn't want to just repeat everything that she said. I taught her everything she knows. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. She's awesome. She did go diamond in 26 days, and we were friends before all this, so we're competitive. So I do like to throw in, I think diamond, my record is diamond in 23 days. And then I was 2-star within 60 days. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my story. I'm going to talk about I'm a professor at the University of Alabama. So I've built this. I know some of you guys, I see babies and stuff like that. And as women, we're all busy, whether you're a mom or not, or whatever, like busy is the badge that most of us wear. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about my story and then my non-negotiables, because none of my days are the same. My day looks different every day. Some days I'm teaching in the classroom from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. But I do have daily non-negotiables that I fit in my day no matter what. And I'm going to share those with you. I am going to share my team's daily power hour that we do. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Success Club and just not making this whole thing harder than it really is. And then I have a little assignment for you guys at the very end. So if I forget to give it to you, remind me. But anyway, so my story, this is not my first time as a Beachbody coach. I actually coached once before for literally, it was less than a day. I said, it gave me a hard time, like really 5 minutes. And it was like, a couple hours, but, it says my internet connection. Can y'all hear me okay? Nod your head if you can, I guess. All right. So I became a coach, and life happened. My husband lost his job. We had moved to another state, and I just decided I just couldn't do it. I needed to go get a real job. So I didn't coach that first time. Now, this last time, Emily Favre is my coach. Some of you guys may know her. But Emily and I connected not over Beachbody. We actually connected because she shared her story and was very transparent about her struggle. And so she had 4 miscarriages and had a post sharing about that. And her kind of tagline was hope after heartbreak. Well, I was in the process of writing a devotional book myself called Brokenhearted Hope. And so I had 1 miscarriage at the time, and I wrote the book, and it was a compilation of people's stories who had miscarriages and loss. So that's how Emily and I connected. I asked her if she would write for the book, and she said she would. And so Emily and I are a part of this book for women who have experienced loss and miscarriage. Well, the book is published in October, and in the midst of that, I actually experienced another miscarriage. So the last chapter of the book is entitled The Chapter I Never Wanted to Write. And I've had 3 more since then. And so the way our story goes is during that time, while I was having the 3 more miscarriages, Emily was in the test group for 80-Day Obsession. Our bodies are kind of similar. Once you've gone through pregnancy or loss, it does a number on your body. And so I watched Emily's body change, but I also watched this light come back into her eyes. And I was like, I need that too. So I messaged her and I said, hey, tell me about this 80-Day Obsession thing. And it's not, I have it screenshotted and I'll probably frame it one day. But I say, tell me about this 80-Day Obsession thing, but I don't want to coach because I've done it before, and don't even ask me. She never asked me to coach. She never had to. But I had my 4th miscarriage on January 11th of this year. And on January 15th is when the first public group started 80-Day Obsession. So I just committed, I need to do this for me. I've got to get my body in shape. I've got to mentally, physically, all of that. I knew it was a journey that I needed to take. So I fully committed to 80-Day Obsession. And I started sharing my journey from the beginning. So every day I would post, I did all the stuff they tell you not to do before you become a coach, but I was like, day 1, day 2, I ran out of fingers. So my daughter and I bought a felt board so we would hold up, day 13, day 12. And I just shared my 80-Day Obsession journey from the very beginning, because at that point it was for me. It wasn't for anybody else. I just needed people to know, for the accountability, that I was going to do something. I know Jessica talked about last week about being a habitual quitter. I am a habitual quitter. And so I just needed the accountability. And then people started relating. They had seen my journey. I had the book. And then they started following me on this journey. And people started asking, like, what are these containers that you're carrying? And you look great. What are you doing? So people started asking me those questions. And I would send them to Emily, because remember, I told Emily I wasn't going to coach. And so Emily's like, girl, you need to do this. Like, you do this. And so I signed up to be a coach in February. So I've been doing this for less than 6 months. And I did not tell my husband that I was going to sign up as a coach. So I just did it and didn't tell him. I don't recommend that, but I did it. And so I committed, and I think nobody does this business for it to make the money. When I went to my first summit this year and got to hear from all these top coaches, and they all talked about, and shout out Indy, I can't wait to go back next year. But all the top coaches would get on stage and talk about, well, I was a discount coach, or I just signed up to cover the cost of my Shakeology. And I think that's how the majority of us start out. I wanted to sell enough to cover the cost of my shakes. And then I fell completely in love. I lost 24 pounds with 80-Day Obsession. I'm doing Lift 4 now. I've never done anything for weight loss and kept it off. I usually gain the weight back and add 5 extra pounds, and it's this vicious cycle. So I have now currently lost 30 pounds. My husband, who was, we didn't tell him about this. He's an accountant. He is a believer now. He's doing Lift 4 with me. We get up every morning at 5 o'clock. And Beachbody has changed the entire dynamic of our family, because now we get up, I have chills talking about it. We get up at 5 a.m., we work out, and now we do personal development together at our kitchen table in the morning. So this is not only changing our bodies, but it's changing our marriage and the legacy that we're leaving for our daughter who is 6. So that's kind of my story in the nutshell. But the important things I want you to hear from that is that I didn't find Beachbody because of Beachbody. I found it because somebody shared their story. And Jessica talked last week about breadcrumbing your story. And that's what Emily did. That's what I do. So don't be afraid to share your heart and share your story, because that's what people are going to relate to you. I've heard other coaches say people are going to fall in love with you first, and then they'll fall in love with the program. So if you're scared to post pictures of you, or I hate seeing videos of myself, but I'm getting personal development will help you get over that. But I've just learned that this isn't about me. I had somebody, I think it was Ashley Molstad actually at Summit, when they talked about like sharing your story pretty much. And she said, fear is selfish. And I was like, okay, where's she going with this? And when I thought about it, it's when you're scared to post or you're scared to invite, you're making it about you. When in reality, these programs and this gift that we have to offer people is for them. So that I just got kind of out of my own head and out of my own way. I have a book that I always recommend. It's a short read. It's very quirky, but it's called Rhinoceros Success, I think by Scott Adams. Dave Ramsey actually endorses it, and he makes anybody he works with read this book. And so it really put me in the mindset that to be a rhinoceros and to have rhinoceros success, you've got to have tough skin, and you've got to keep charging forward no matter what. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. But the tough skin part, that comes with consistency and showing up every day, but also the personal development. You just can't care what people think. I get haters in my inbox, people that I thought were friends. But you kind of figure out in this business, you learn who's for you and who's against you. And sometimes the people that are against you come back around, and then they, with their tail between their legs. But consistency and showing up. So let me look at, okay, so my day, I wanted to share my day. So my non-negotiables every day, they look a lot like the 4 vitals because it's what works. It sounds so cheesy, but it works, right? So do the vital behaviors every day. So my non-negotiables, number 1 is personal development. My team is called Faith Over Fear, and I am pretty unapologetic about who I am and what I believe in. And it's okay if somebody doesn't believe the same thing, but I want you guys to be unapologetically you. Don't try to be Ashley Molstad. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be Emily. Don't try to be Bonnie Engel. Don't try to be Julie. Don't try to be anyone other than yourself. So for me, personal development means spending time every day with God. So I have a devotional or the Bible or a girl wash your face or something like that. I'm reading 100 Days to Brave right now, and I do that every day. So that's my number 1 non-negotiable, and I try to make that come first. Sometimes my husband and I will sit at the kitchen table, and some of the most motivating things you can ever watch are commencement speeches for universities. And they'll have these people like giving the speeches of their lives, and you're going to go into your day like, I can do anything. So personal development is my number 1 thing. If you're not doing the enemy will attack your mind with this business, because you start to share your heart, and then you start to define yourself by the number of likes or the number of people signing up. And it can't be what this is about. So protecting your mind is super important. So that's my number 1. My number 2 isn't one of the vitals, but it's vital for me. And I had to put it in there because I had no balance in my life. And you heard Jessica and I think we ran in a competitive nature because we were that way, right? But I have had to take a step back and find balance. There's a way to do it. I think Julie said there's a way to do it without being desperate. And so to have that urgency. So I still have that urgency, but I had to find some balance in my life. So my number 2 thing is family, because I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a professor. So every day, I don't typically do team calls at night. I'll do my coach sneak peek, like a lunch and learn. you've just got to protect what's important to you in your life. And so if you've got a spouse or kids or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you've got to protect that. So I have people next. So personal development and people. My third thing is the workout. I work out and show up with my workouts in my Insta stories every time I do one. And so if you're going to be a successful coach, you've got to commit to a program. And I do have a very no excuses attitude because my uplines are Emily Favre and Ashley Molstad. And that's what they really instill in us. But I will say, and that rhinoceros success is that way. You got thick skin and you charge forward. And so I do my workouts with no excuses. You know, if I miss a day, I'm going to get it in and switch my rest days around. But I don't have the old mentality that I used to have that was like, oh, you know what? I messed up. I didn't do my meal plan. So then I would just fall off the freight. We fell off the wagon. We don't fall off the wagon anymore. If you're going to be a coach, there is a certain responsibility to show up with your workouts, follow the meal plan, because if you're telling people to do that, you've got to be the example and the leader. So start looking at yourself like a leader. And so the workouts. My fourth one is inviting. So the reality of making this business work is Emily says the fear is mutual. So yes, I do post and I say inspirational things and I do Insta stories, but most people are scared to death to drop an emoji or vote on your poll or put themselves out there. They're scared of doing that. So the reality of making this work is inviting because that fear is mutual. So as scared as you are to invite, those people are more scared to reach out to you. So in terms of inviting, I know like the vital behaviors will tell you like 3 to 5 or 5 to 10 or whatever a day to really make this work. I say at minimum, you should invite 30 and I usually do about 80. I think 80 is where like Facebook will send you the message that you're abusing Messenger. So I usually make that my goal to get in trouble by Facebook every day. It's great. But inviting, and there are some days, like I said, I could have signed up to be a coach. It would have made more sense to do it this summer when I was off work, but I signed up to be a coach in the midst of the busiest semester that I've ever had. So I had to build this business instead of a power hour. I didn't have a power hour to even wash my hair. I had to build this in power pockets. And so I'm going to share my power hour, but my power hour, when I did it in pockets, is no different. I just did it in 5 to 10 minute chunks of time. The like ugly truth reality of it, like when I was on the toilet and when I was in the carpool line waiting to pick up my daughter. I look at it like the time that I normally spend scrolling through my phone at night, looking at other people's lives and living the lives that I wanted to live. I spend that time now on social media being intentional, changing lives, okay, and making my own better. So inviting 30 to 80 people a day. Some days that doesn't happen. We were at the beach last week and, so my daughter starts school Wednesday. So I'm kind of it's not happening as much time, but you better believe this week I'm going to invite 100 a day and make up for it. Right. So I have Success Club goals every month and we'll talk about that next, but the inviting is what gets you to that. So I invite 30 to 80 a day. And if I don't get to a day, I'll do 100 the next day to make up for it. So you don't have to do it. If daily things overwhelm you, you can just do like sprint a couple days a week, but you can't not do it. So, okay. My power hour is, and I am like Jessica as well. I completely got to Diamond and 2-star because of Facebook. So I did just like she did and went A to Z down my friends list and invited people from that. And then I started building, and so all the top coaches tell you where Instagram is where it's at, and I believe it. Instagram is less like, I don't know, Facebook, when you add new friends on Facebook, they're like, how do we know each other? And I feel like Instagram is a little less like, I don't know, catty. It's more approachable. People don't care who you are. They just want followers, right? So I have shifted a little bit more into Instagram, but the reality of this is I built to Diamond from Facebook. So my power hour for our team looks like this. And other teams do this too. I don't know if you guys know Ashley Feldison or Kate Morgan is my success partner. Kate's like started the same time as me and she's like 6-star Diamond now or something ridiculous. But here it is. So, and you can do this for Facebook and Instagram. So follow 50. I actually use Captivate, that app. So I'll go to a brand or something that I like, or a coffee shop, or the place I get my hair done, or whatever. And I'm a mom, and I like to dress my daughter in certain brands. So I just go look at the stuff I love and click on the people that look like me or look like could be a part of my tribe, and I just follow them. And the beauty about Captivate is I'm not like paying for likes. It feels very organic to me. But what I'm doing is just, instead of following them all right there at the same time, I just have a ton of them in my Captivate app, and you can turn it on night mode. And so it will follow like one person every 60 seconds at night while you're sleeping. It's amazing. So I do the follow process for like 2 or 3 days. You got to give them some time to follow you or not. And then I'll go to cleaner, and I'll just start unfollowing anybody who didn't follow me back. And so that's kind of how I expand my network. But if you're not doing that, you're going to run out of people. I mean, I remember literally hyperventilating when I went through my Facebook list A to Z with my coach, Emily. And she was like, I've been doing this for 4 years and I've never ran out of people. So go expand your network and be quiet. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. So that's what I did. So I just go into Captivate, and of my like queue, they call it a local queue, I follow 50. And then the next things I do is I invite from likes. This is the beauty about showing up every day, is that you just go to your post from yesterday, and anybody that liked it, I look at it, and I think I saw a question about cold inviting. I do not cold invite. I have never sent a cold invite, and I hope to never have to do that. I look at it like, if you have liked one of my pictures or you have watched my story, you are invested in me in some shape or form. Either you just want to sit back and support, or you're interested and you're too scared to say it. So I go back to my post from the day before, or if you skipped a day, go back all of them. But I send a hey girl, and I think Jessica read hers last week. Ours are the same, just different wording. Make it your own. But I send a hey girl to anyone who has liked, and then the next one is story. So I invite from likes, I invite from my story, anyone who's watching your story. And you can see if they watch like a lot, and you're like, okay. And y'all, I have friends from high school that it's like, I've sent them 5 hey girls and they still watch and like everything, but they won't say anything back. And it's called ghosting. And our team, we call them bless and release. They'll come back eventually. So, and then the other thing is, if you have to, some days I spend enough time and have enough likes and enough story watchers that I don't even have to go this route. But then you can go down your followers and your friends list A to Z and invite some people from there. But, so that's it. Follow 50, invite from likes, invite from story, invite from followers if you have to, and then follow 50 more. Because you don't want to follow 100 all at once, but follow 50 in the beginning and then follow 50 at the end. So then you won't be dinged for anything. And I'm going to show you guys my process. It's not fancy at all. And I'm pretty sure Emily and Ashley, they all use this too. And if you guys don't do this, I'm going to challenge you to do so. So what this is every day I write the date up at the top. And then right here, this little sheet of paper has 100, 1 through 100. And so I just go through, and anyone who I message, whether it's a follow-up or a brand new hey girl, their name gets written down right here. So that way I'm not like, one day I spend it, because you can spend an hour and invite 30 one day, and spend an hour and maybe you've had your energize and you're really efficient and you invite 200 the next day. And so this is a way for me to track, like, how many invites am I really sending? What's really the return on investment in my time? So I used to try to do a Google spreadsheet, but it was just more work. This old-fashioned paper, it just works for me. So do what works for you. But I will say, if you're not doing this for your power hour every day, just get a little notebook, put it in your purse, and write 1 through 30, 1 through 80, 1 through 100 if you feel crazy that day. And make sure you send out invites or follow-up messages to that many people every day. And like I said, if I didn't do it one day, I know instead of 30, I need to do 60, and I'll do it the next day. So old-fashioned, it's great. It works. So that's my power hour. And are we good on time? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
You're fine. You're fine. I'm going to ask you a really quick question about your list, because I am high-fiving you that it's pen and paper. I'm so glad you said that, because I think we're always looking for that next techie thing. And often technology can be a beautiful thing, but often it can be a very distracting thing because there's a learning curve. So I hear people talk about Streak, and, we've had a lot of Teamsy on our team, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing that will always be okay, the thing that will never go away or never go out of date, will always be a piece of paper and a pencil. There's zero learning curve right here. So we all know how to use these tools. So when you write those names down, are you also indicating beside each one which one is an invite and which one is a follow-up, or are you just writing all their names and it doesn't really matter?
Some people do. I know Ashley, she gets highlighters in some circle and stars.
See, already now that's way too much.
And I just don't. For me, it's not, this isn't my follow-up system. This is just, and I could get better. Instagram, once you have a business account, you can star people. So I've started starring people that I need to continue conversations with. But for me, this is just my daily accountability that I sent the invites out. I haven't gone back to them. I may go back and follow up, but sometimes I'll just scroll back down my inbox, and if I can still see their first message was a "Hey girl," then I will send them a message. But honestly, so far, and this may change, but so far I'm just going to the people that are still liking my posts and viewing my stories, and most of the people because the algorithm kicks in with Facebook and Instagram. So once you message them, they're going to start watching your stuff, and then you're going to click on them again and see, well, they got a "Hey girl" a week ago. So they're still watching me, but they need I'll tell you guys I have text replacements. They're glorious. But mine's IGFU, which stands for Instagram follow up, not anything bad. And I just put that in, and then they get a follow up message. So
it's interesting because I think that Instagram is still, or Instagram messaging to a certain extent, is still new enough for some people that I see them like my story. I'll see them respond to a poll that I've done. So of course I'm messaging them. I'm taking the whole list of, on this side of the response poll and on this side of the response, they're all getting messages. And I can see that's like the third message that I've sent them. And I think that there are some people who don't even know you can direct message on Instagram. I really believe that now.
I was the same way. I mean, I completely did everything on Facebook for at least February to April. And then everybody's like, okay, you got to start doing these Insta stories and all this. And I was the same. I'm like, oh my goodness, I have all these messages in my IG inbox to
in this other inbox. I don't even know what this is.
I'm like, what? I didn't even know Instagram had this. So Instagram is new. People are figuring it out. I think maybe a message on Instagram is kind of weird for some people, but if they're watching your stuff, the more they'll reach out eventually. So
that's just a good piece to remember, that because we're very quick to take things personally. Oh my gosh, they didn't respond to me, so clearly they must hate me. No, they actually may not even know that Instagram has direct message. So that's important to remember. And the other piece that we learned that I'll share with you too, Heather, we had Brock Johnson, Shalene Johnson's son, on our team call a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about some of the story stuff. And the one piece that he said, there's a lot that stood out, but the one piece that he said that stood out, the reason why Instagram messaging is so crucial is you want people who are engaging with you to learn to expect a reply. So if you are asking them a question, or if you are doing a poll and they respond, you want to get them in this call and response, for lack of a better word, sort of rhythm, because you want the conversation going, because at some point, 6 or 8 or whatever times in, you're going to say, hey, you should join my challenge group. But it's odd to do that if you haven't had some sort of call and response. So if they respond or they say something to you, you've got to be on top of responding to them. And then they might respond to you and you respond to them. And they start to expect that if they're responding and engaging, you will too. And I thought that is such a brilliant mindset to remember, that you can't just put it out there and go, okay, bye-bye. You got to put it out there, and you got to be present with what you're putting out there.
That's right. And I've learned, it's funny, It's not funny, but I've learned like the importance of following up the hard way. Like I said, I am a professor, so it's not what I do full time. So there was a point, and it was like finals week, and there was a girl that I had been talking to, invested a lot of time in, and then I went to follow up, and she said, well, I signed up under Emily because you never messaged me back. And I was like, oh my gosh, like rude. And Emily was like, I didn't know, or I wouldn't have signed her up, you know, but it's happened to me a couple times that I've missed that opportunity, and people go sign up with other people. My own brother signed up with one of my new coaches because I didn't ask him. I was like, well, I thought, you know, his wife does another company, and I'm like, you know, if he wanted to do it, he would ask me. And her and her husband asked, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm going to give him a hard time for the rest of his life now. But I was like, sign up under her. It helps her. It'll help me. Like, I can see her being she's a coach that actually started and canceled and started again. So I was like, she's going to be great. But anyways, the follow-up is really important. And like Julie said, if they respond to your story, or they're liking your post, or they're commenting, and you don't comment back, you know, the first thought in their mind is going to be, well, how is this person going to be as a coach? Are they going to be responsive to me when I have a question about the meal plan and things like that? So I've learned the hard way, but following up, and actually when people responding to you, I would say within like 24 hours, I know we're all busy, but if you put a poll out, be prepared to respond to people in the poll within the 24-hour time window. So yeah. I was going to talk a little bit about Success Club and what I call the mindset makeover, and then my kind of assignment for you guys, and then questions if you guys have questions.
That's perfect. Liz had a question about how many times do you follow up until you bless and release, and what your invite consists of. As you've already said, the invite is the same from the one last week that Jessica shared with us. We've already shared that in our Facebook group. So Lindsay, you can go back and find that in the Facebook group. In the post from the call last week.
Yes. And I was going to show you guys my phone. I don't know if you can see it, but this is like, you go to settings and it's text replacements. And so what I do is I just go, when Lift 4 or 2B Mindset comes out, I just go to the FAQ and take the script that I had from 80 Day Obsession, and I just create a script. So for each one, I have like a HG1, it's a Hey Girl for Instagram, and Hey GF, and it's like a shorter, more informal. If it's like a younger person, I can call them girlfriend, you know. And then I just like L4CP1, L4CP2, it's the challenge pack information, or 80 info is the 80-day information. And I think what is a big game changer for advancing your business, it's what Emily does, it's what I taught Jessica to do, it's what I do. Don't ever decide for somebody if they're going to be a coach or not. You always present the coach opportunity. And I kind of breadcrumb that even at the very end of my invite. I say, I look at it like I'm the expert at this. You've got to have competence is key. And hopefully you've seen with Jessica and with me, that's really, I think, I had a call with Julie and Doug very early on when I was a coach, and they identified that for me because I was like, I don't think I'm doing anything different. And they told me, I think it's the confidence. I know it's the confidence. So instead of telling people and letting them decide, I tell them what they should do. If you're doing a 13-week program or an 8-week program, then you should sign up to be a discount coach at minimum, because you need to use the products throughout the program, and the program is more than a month, so why not get the discount? So that's what I recommend. And then I just throw it in there and and if you're interested in actively coaching, you can do this. I'll show you how. And I make on average $100, $600, $1,000 a week, whatever it is. And I would love for you to do that. And not many people are like, yes, I want to coach right now. I've had a few. It's great. Jessica was one of them, and she hit the ground running and was diamond in 23 days. But it just plants the seed for people that they could do it too. And I also plant the seed for discount coaches. I say, if you have anyone that you would want to do this with you, a friend or your mom or your sister, if you're a discount coach, you can sign them up under you and you'll get I call it a referral, but it's really, they get the commission, right? So then I have people that get to Emerald or start to become a coach, and I'm like, hey girl, you just hit the first rank in the business, and are you sure you don't want to coach? And a lot of them will. So you can kind of help people become coaches before, not many people know they want to coach right off the bat. So anyways, the next thing, and you guys can ask me, just type in questions in the chat. I think that's how we do it. Success Club, I just wanted to say, I don't think any of us signed up to do this business for it to cost us money, right? And for that to be the case, you've got to hit Success Club. And Ashley and Emily, it's the first thing that they say.
Just stop and say that one more time. Just stop and say that one more time, because if people are not absorbing anything else to understand that connection between that and Success Club is everything. So just say that one more time. Say it slowly and emphatically. And I'm writing it down, and y'all better be writing it down.
Okay. So none of us signed up to do this business for it to cost us money. And for that to be the case, you have to hit Success Club every month. Because when you help 3 people with a challenge pack, that automatically means that you've made enough money to cover the cost of your shakes or your performance. So pretty much the company rewards us with hats and bags and t-shirts and whatever else, calls with amazing authors, just for doing the minimum thing that we should do anyways. And so Ashley and Emily told us early on that Success Club should be your non-negotiable. So add that to your, I had 4, add that to your 5th one. Success Club should be your non-negotiable goal. And on our team, we say SC5 by the 5th and SC10 by the 10th. And it's the 5th of the month, and I've been on vacation, and I'm not at SC5, and it's bothering me. So I'm like trying to get my daughter off to school, and I'm going to invite my heart out this week. I will hit SC10 by the 10th. But Success Club should be your minimum goal. And I have so many people that wait until the last week or 2 of the month, and then they frantically start trying to invite and coach, and they're stressed, and then they're exhausted, and then they do it again the next month because they take a week or 2 of a break, and then they catch up, and then they're like, okay, I'll do it again, gotta hit it. And it's like this vicious cycle. So do the daily vitals, do those non-negotiables every day, and come out the gate strong. I've seen this business is going to ebb and flow. And I've seen later in the month is not as good of a time, and later in the week is not as good of a time. Your people are going to sign up the first 15 to 20 days of the month, and they all do it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then people have stuff to do on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday is a golden time. If you don't post a transformation post or something on Sunday night, please do it tonight, because people indulge over the weekend, and everybody wants to start something new on a Monday. Now, if a Monday is the 1st of the month and it's a Monday, non-negotiable post. But this is just going to ebb and flow. And I think the people that wait until the end of the month to make Success Club happen really struggle, because people aren't thinking about starting something new at the end of a month. People want to start something new at the beginning of the month. So Success Club should be your non-negotiable. To get there, you do those things. I mean, Emily's tough on us. When people say, I'm struggling, I haven't hit it, she's like, well, are you doing those things? Because if you do the math and you're sending 30 invites a day, every day, you're telling me out of those, I can't do math, I don't know how many that is, that's a lot, but you're telling me out of those hundreds of people that you can't get 3 people to tell you yes. Don't make this harder than it is, but also don't let this cost you money. Cover your own stuff, right? So
that right there is just such gold, because the coaches who say this business is hard or stressful are probably, well, I wouldn't say probably, I would say yes, that they're the ones who are, because I'll tell you, and Heather, you may not have experienced this yet because you're still newer, but I'll tell you, on those months when it is towards the end of the month and you are struggling to hit Success Club, number 1, it's because I haven't done the work in the first place. And that's why I'm struggling. And number 2, suddenly I'm stressed about the business. And if I am doing the work, you can only control the controllable. So I can't control when someone else is going to say yes, but by golly, I can control how many times I put it out there. And if I'm not even putting it out there, then how am I going to have anyone to invite? So absolutely, hands down, no question, the times that we are most stressed about this business, it's not because it's so hard. It's because we're not doing the work. So then it becomes not fun. And if you're doing the work and people are coming in and you're inviting and they're saying yes, and you've got 3 or 4 new people a month and you're changing their life, it's a heck of a lot of fun. But if you're on the 30th of the month and you haven't invited, now it's stressful. And now you're going to your upline coach going, I just can't do this business. It's so hard. No, you just didn't do the work to make it not so hard.
Well, and I've transitioned. Once you get to diamond and above, you have to be a leader, and you got to, and so people are now coming to me, and I can see, I had a girl, she's done the work. She hit her highest, she did the beat the best for July, but she's starting to tell me that she feels like she hustled really hard. She finished 80-day obsession. She felt like she would get a lot more people signing up now. And I could just hear it in her voice. I said, have you been doing personal development? And she hasn't done one single day of personal development. You guys, don't dismiss the personal development. If you, my non-negotiables, if you don't do one of those, you can't do half of the work. So you can't just show up on Facebook, but not do, or show up on stories, show up on Facebook, show up on your timeline, and not do the inviting part, right? You've got to invite. People aren't going to come to you. And you got to invite, you got to show up, but you've also got to do the personal development, because that's when you start to think inside your head, I can't do this, or this is hard, or this is frustrating. When I'm sitting at the kitchen table with my husband listening to, excuse my language, but kick-ass commencement speeches before I start my day, like, life doesn't seem that frustrating or hard. I want to go kick butt that day. So you got to do all the pieces and all the parts. So if you're not doing personal development, and I think a lot of people get caught in like, what do? I get asked that all the time. Who cares? Just Google it. Get on YouTube. Do something. There's a lot of inspirational stuff out there. You're going to find an author or a speaker that speaks to you, right? So just find your thing, but do something every day to enrich your mind. Because that's when you, like Julie said, this should be fun. And when it starts to get frustrating and that kind of stuff, it's just, like that girl, for example, she's putting in the work. So I couldn't tell her it's because you're not doing, she's sending the invite, she's showing up, but she's not doing the personal development. I knew she wasn't doing something. So when somebody comes to me now, and this is just tough love, and Emily gives it to me. So when I start to come to her frustrated, or somebody comes to me frustrated, there's a piece of the puzzle, there's a non-negotiable that they're not doing, that they're missing, and they think they can do it without it, but you can't. You've got to do all of those non-negotiables.
That's perfect. Okay, we've got 15, well, a little less, because we've got a Emerald call at 7, so a little less than that, minutes left. Who has specific questions for Heather that have not been asked, or that she hasn't addressed yet? Does anyone have anything specific? And you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask, or if you just want to type it in the chat because you're shy and you don't want to speak, whatever you want to do.
I think Liz had one. How many times do you follow up until you bless and release? I usually do 3. So I send the hey girl, I do the IGFU, like, hey, just checking in to see. I'm very short and vague with that one, checking to see that you got my invitation above, because then a lot of times I just didn't even see it. So then they'll look and they'll be like, oh, I totally meant to reply. Then I may send a 3rd one that's like, hey, you missed that challenge group, but I'm starting another one for this month. I don't want you to miss out, and I would love to save you a spot. But then if they continue to like my stuff, I just go for the no. I don't overcomplicate things. There's not some magic number that's like follow up 3 times and then stop and don't follow up ever again. Like, just go for the no. If they're liking your stories and they're liking your post, like, they're giving you permission to keep tabs on them. Maybe start a conversation that's not about Beachbody. Like, hey girl, I ask people all the time, how can I pray for you? And some people will tell me like, oh, well, I'm having this surgery come up, or this is going on in my life. So I have a list of people that, like, I'm not even asking them about challenge groups. I'm just checking in on their lives, and they're going to remember that. Like, and they may never come back and do a challenge group, but it's enriching my life, being able to connect with people, and hopefully it's enriching theirs as well, having somebody care about them. So I just go for the no, like, don't ever not follow up if they're liking your stuff. Because I've not followed up and learned that the hard way. What does your invite consist of? I think if Jessica shared hers, mine is pretty much the same. Let's see. You mentioned Captivate. Is this an app, or where can it be found? Yes, it's only for, I think, iPhone. I don't know that there's like an Android equivalent, so go out and get an iPhone if you don't have one. Kidding partially, but Captivate and Cleaner are iPhone apps, and I get so many questions about that. I may like do a YouTube video on Captivate and Cleaner, and I can send it to Julie if you guys want that, because I get a lot of questions. I've grown my Instagram following from like 800 to I think I have 2,800 now within the last like month or two. Now you can't just I think my job is putting valuable content out there. So you can't just like follow people and then follow you and then you not do anything with it. But I think it's like Captivate and Cleaner isn't magic. It's not doing anything that you aren't doing by following people. It just does it for you at night. So it's like not this, people get really bogged down in the details of stuff, and Captivate and Cleaner is not anything magic. You've still got to put in the work. You've still got to invite. You've still got to show up. But I'll do a video and I'll send it to Julie about Captivate and Cleaner. Do you make sure you connect before you invite, or do you just initially invite? That's what I'm struggling with. So like I said, I kind of let them connect with me. So I look at it like some of my non-negotiables, I always do a Transformation Tuesday. Usually it's a side-by-side face picture. I always do a Sunday transformation. I post every day. The times of day is going to be different for you, but for me, my audience is moms usually. And so it's like lunchtime and very early in the morning or late at night. And so I've just figured that out, but I post every day. I was making it one a day, but now I try to do kind of 3 a day, like morning, afternoon, night. I'm showing my personality a little bit more with like funny quotes and stuff like that. But you just do you. Don't try to be anybody else. Just you do you, but consistency is key. But so so we on our team, it's called 531. So you can like 5 of their posts, you can comment on 3, and then you invite. And make sure you're following them, I guess. But some people do that. I really haven't. I do the Captivate and I follow people, and if they follow me back, you can see my description on my Facebook and Instagram is very clear about what I stand for. So I look like all my stuff is all Beachbody. So if you opted in to follow me, like you kind of knew what you were getting into. You knew you were going to get an invite. So I just unapologetically, if they follow me, like or watch, they get an invite. I really don't because I think so many people are like, hey girl, love your hair. I just don't feel authentic doing that. Like, you followed me because you know what I'm about. I'm about faith and fitness, and I'm a mom, and so we connected over that. So I don't need to ask you about your hair. I'll ask you about that once we're friends, but let's do this thing, right? So I don't do all that. Let's see. I think that's the thing I wanted to leave you guys with is the homework is I want you guys, if you haven't already, to define your why. Because I'm at the point in my coaching journey that it's not about, for me, I'm at the point in coaching as far as I can go, just me. So now once you're 2-star and 3-star, you only rank advanced because other people do. So now I'm having to coach other people. And I'm seeing people, Jessica is one of them, that life kind of happened. She moved and all of that. And you've really got to define your why. Because if you don't define your why, you're going to do this for 6 months or 3 months or however long your program is. And then when life gets in the way, you're going to think about what's going to keep you doing this. So I want everybody to, on wherever you guys, your comment page, whatever, I want you to define your why and let life be a part of it. So if you're moving, work out with boxes around you. For me and my husband, we've had 4 miscarriages and we're about to go through trying to conceive again. So you can see my post yesterday was about asking for prayers for this journey. So don't let life get in the way of your why. Let life be a part of your why. So when life does get crazy, instead of throttling back and not doing these things, you're going to do it. And it's who you are. It's a part of who you are. Your why has to be greater than just losing 20 pounds and doing a program. You've got to have a why that is going to keep you doing this even on the bad days. So I would say define your why if you don't do anything else, because life is going to happen and it's going to get busy and it's going to get hard. And if you don't have that, you're going to fizzle out. So.
Heather, you have such an amazing story, and you will certainly be in all our prayers and hearts as you hopefully have another little one to add to your family someday soon. Your coaching family is expanding, so they all are having babies now. So it's fun to watch that journey. We'll be praying for you. But I mean, my goodness, diamond in 23 days and 2-star in 60 days. It's just such a powerful reminder that those kinds of timelines and that kind of business is possible. This is not just, some unreachable goal for only, it's just possible. You just started, again, you have a full-time job, you're married, you have a child, you don't sit at your computer all day and this is the only thing that you do. You've just made a decision that this is going to be a vital piece of what you do. It's that important, and you're making it a priority and letting it help you change the lives of others as you continue to change your life too. So shoot, girl. I mean, if that's not inspiring and powerful, then I don't know what is. And it should be an absolute testimony to everybody else that it can be done. Absolutely, it can be done. So we're so thankful for you to share our story. And if you are not following Heather on social, please make sure that you go over to her Instagram. Everyone take a quick screenshot. So smile, so you can then go tag her and put it on your story.
That's right. Everybody smile.
Everybody smile.
Yeah. All right. And it's Heather. There's 2 underscores because apparently there's other Heather Shipleys out there. Who knew? But it's Heather _ Shipley. And if you guys want to tag me in your stories or whatever, then I'll repost it. And if y'all have questions, I really do. Beachbody is one of the most encouraging families. I saw it at Summit. I was like, is this real life? But there were people on top teams and top coaches sharing tips, and it was like not competitive at all. Mm-mm. And so if you guys have questions, ask me. It's fine. Follow me. I'm here to help. I'm here to pray for you and encourage you. And you all can do this. I haven't done anything special. And you guys can do this. You've just got to commit and have a no excuse attitude.
You're the best, Heather. Thank you so much for sharing your time tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good week.
Bye.